Kia ora, Sally Tally family. Breen and Missy here, coming live to you today from the dairy. But we're not going to tell you why just yet. We'll get to that really soon, eh?
We're really glad to be hanging out with you today. Breen, you know that story that we just heard from Janine? It's really got me thinking. That guy owed so much money. Yeah, so much money, and yet the king just wiped his debt and let him go. That was an amazing thing to do. The guy must have felt so good after being forgiven for that. Have you ever done something wrong and someone's had to forgive you?
Actually, Missy, you know what? I do. When I was about 7 years old, I remember this one time I really wanted to go to the dairy to get some lollies. I asked my mum for 20 cents, and being the kind-hearted, loving mother she was, do you know what she said?
No, you'll spoil your dinner.
So being the incredibly understanding child that I was, I said to her, please mum, please, I just want 20 cents. To which her response was,
I said no.
to be honest, this didn't sit very well with me at all. In fact, I was thinking, man, it's only 20 cents. When all of a sudden, I had what I thought was the most incredible idea. I instantly remembered where my dad kept his stash of loose coins. I knew that he had heaps of 20-cent pieces, and I knew that he wouldn't notice if one of them had just gone missing. So with a twinkle in my eye and a smug look on my face, I said, okay, Mum. And I started my journey towards my dad's coin jar. I walked up the hallway into my mum and dad's room, and there it was, Dad's coin stash. I opened it, and just like I thought, there were heaps of 20-cent pieces. I was so stoked because all I could think about was all those lollies that I was about to buy. When in all honesty, I knew what I was doing was really, really wrong. Anyway, I reached into the jar, I grabbed the 20-cent piece, and I started to leave the room and head towards the dairy. When all of a sudden, it dawned on me. To get to the dairy, I had to walk past my mum in the kitchen to get to the back door, and I knew that if I walked past her, she might see me holding that coin. Man, I didn't want that to happen. I came up with what I thought was the most brilliant idea, and that was to put the coin in my mouth. So I did it. I put the coin in my mouth, and with a smug little look on my face, I started to walk through the dining room towards the kitchen where my mum was. Because just as I was about to enter the kitchen, do you know what happened? I tripped over. This was really bad because that coin that was in my mouth, it didn't fall out my mouth. Nope. It went straight down my throat and got stuck right here. Seriously, it got stuck right in my throat. Now, as I told you, this wasn't a small little coin, it was a big coin. So here I was with this coin stuck in my throat, and it was really, really hard to breathe. I'd forgotten all about the lollies because, you know what? I was choking on this coin. So in my panic state, I ran into the kitchen where my mum was, and I started pointing in my throat, and I couldn't actually talk, so I probably sounded a little bit like... Now my mum looked at me, and she looked a little bit concerned, but she didn't say much. All she really said was,
Brent, what's the matter?
and again, all I could say was... Then all of a sudden, the concern that she had changed, and she was a little bit like,
Did you put something in your mouth? Wait! Did you take 20 cents out of the room to go to the dairy?
but in my head I was still thinking, don't get mad at me, just fix this. Now I've got a big brother, and I'm actually pretty glad I do, because right at that moment, he walked into the kitchen. Now he saw that I was choking, so you know what he did? He jumped into superhero mode. Pow! Now he didn't come over and just pat me on the back or give me that Heimlich maneuver thing. No, my brother grabbed my feet, he tipped me upside down, he hung me that way, then shook me and shook me and shook me and shook me and shook me. Yep, That's right, he shook me and kept shaking me until the coin just went popped right out of my mouth. When it came out, oh my goodness, I was so happy. But to be honest, I was a little bit shaken up. Anyway, after it came out, I ran straight to my mum because I was really upset and I wanted to be comforted by my mummy. But then, all of a sudden, my mum grabbed me and she gave me this really, really big hug. And from memory, I'm pretty sure she said,
Hey Brent, are you okay?
and at that moment, it felt like it was all okay, that she'd forgiven me for what I had done. But see, what I actually did was really wrong. You know, I actually took something that didn't belong to me, and it ended up really, really bad. But even though my mum was pretty angry at me at the time, you know what? She forgave me.
And that was super cool. Okay, wait, not cool that you took the gigantic coin, put it in your mouth and started choking on it. Lol. But it was cool that your mum forgave you. It totally reminded me of how God treats us.
Exactly. Well, thanks for watching. It was so good to have you join us on Deep Dive again today. Remember kids, as lifelong followers of Jesus, we are called to love others as well as forgive them because we've been forgiven. Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again later. See ya.